Okay, welcome back to my channel. This is part one of what if Deku was known as a battle god. Now, what I mean by battle god, as in Deku was in war and he was literally called a battle god. So, I'm gonna get into this at this point. So, in my Hero Academia world, there's a war going on right now. A war, well, it's kind of like a world war, but it's focused in basically one area. Like, Japan is not a part of this war. So that's why they're not, basically affected. Japan is not a part, and a couple other small countries and things like that are not a part either. So Inko at the time, Inko and Sashi was in the place where they had war. So Inko was pregnant, so she did give birth to two kids, Deku and, his brother, Izuki. Not Izuki, Izuko. Izuku and Izuko. So at a baby, at the age of a baby, they do check the quirks out immediately because when they get back to Japan, it's gonna take a long time for that to do that. They do check and see that we'll have quirks. So Deku is shown that he will be quirkless, and Izuko was shown that he will manifest the quirk. So they think they just leave, basically this place. But whilst leaving, they actually forget Deku there because they didn't really care about him anyway. Leaving Deku there, basically, as soon as they left, the place got bombed. Basically, soldiers, run through the streets, shooting each other and things like that. But Deku gets taken by ally, basically soldiers. These not the evil guys. They're not the ones who started the war. They're just fighting in it. So they take Deku, and they kind of raise Deku like as their own kid, like this whole group, like these special forces. One of the best of the best. So they trained Deku at the young age, basically as he growed up. Like they trained his poison resistance, anti-torture, and all of that. Military tactics. And Deku is smart, and he still can analyze people, so he uses that too to his advantage. They train him in weapons and all that. So Deku is implemented into this military group because they taking anything they can just to fight this war. In which, on the battlefield, Deku earns a name, the Battle God, because he can implement, any strategy and make it possible. Oh yes, I will not be editing this video. I just edited that one video because I wanted to see what it looked like if I had an intro. But editing takes a long time. The video takes a long time to be finished with, because first I gotta add the video that I already made for my intro, and then I gotta basically upload it, in which it had a long time uploading. So I'm not gonna edit my videos. I might edit a few of them if I can. I might edit a few of them, but most of them I will not. Like this one, it's not gonna be edited. So Deku is now 8 years old. He's still in this military group, and he has earned a lot of kills over the years, and he has gotten used to killing. Like he finally like second nature. Killing is second nature. Like he knows that killing is bad, war is bad, but he just has to fight it at such a young age. He does not know who his parents are. He don't know his real name. But for the sake of me, they just name him Izuku. He don't know his last name. They just name him Izuku because that's what basically had a label on his blanket when he was left there. It was labeled Izuku, so that's what they know the name of, Izuku. But most of the time they just call him, Battle God or something like that. Just call me or something. So, over the years, Deku has got lots of kills, fought in this war that's lasted a long time. Got injured a lot. He got a lot of scars on his body, but his muscular build, because the military people he was with, helped him get to this build. Now, this is the ending point of the war. Deku is now, he's 11. Like, they just have to do this one thing and they can end this war. So they attack this place. Like, this is what a general of this war is. They attack it, but they do it stealthily. How they do it is they poison the water supplies, poison the food, so everyone that eats and drinks basically get poisoned, like food poisoning and things like that. So there will be less of danger. So they do that. They go to the ventilation staff, like what main air is from, like where they get all the air from. Like not like air, like I'm talking like cool air, like air conditioning. They went to that place. They put gas in it, like sleeping gas, stuff like that, to basically knock everyone out. After doing that, everyone is knocked out. They go to the general. They slit his throat, killing him instantly. And then they went through every part of this building. They put gasoline everywhere. They lit this place on fire. And then they left, burning everyone else that was inside, ending the war officially. Now, before they left, actually, they got ambushed. Ambushed by who, you may be asking? Well, just random enemy soldiers, killing all of them. They were not prepared for that. And Deku was the only one left alive, hiding under the bodies of his fallen brethren, his brother and his sister. As he sees the man that he used to work for, the military worked for, the general of their army. Deku then gets mad. No. Whilst everyone else turns around, Deku pulls out a silenced pistol that he always keeps around him because there was a stealth mission. As he shoots the man directly in the head, killing him instantly. And no one else noticed because it was silenced. As Deku dragged the man's body under the basically pile of bodies. And everyone turned around to see the man was gone, but they didn't know what happened, so they just turned back around again and they start walking, looking for the man. Deku then slowly but surely killed every single last one of them people. Now, because that general did die, something did not get called off, so it still happened. And where they were fighting it, I'm going to say, was in, like, basically, they were fighting in Africa. Like, the enemy soldiers occupied Africa, but Africa was, wasn't really a part of the war. Like, it was just affected by it. Like, some countries were in Africa, like, some were a part of it, some weren't. So, Africa was split. So, with the general actually dying of basically the allied countries who were actually evil, one of his projects don't get called off, and this project was a nuke. So the nuke still touched down Africa, and it's around the area Deku was in. So that area gets nuked, turned into a wasteland, with enemy soldiers still there, not hearing of the war ending because the nuke was called. And because it all happened in the span of a night, well, their general was dead, so they didn't know he was dead. So it was played on TV that basically Africa has been nuked and stuff like that. Areas and full of radiation and things like that. But Deku does not get radiation. He hid before the nuke hit because he saw it coming. He hid behind a wall underground. So the nuke hit. Deku spent a couple of days under just to let the radiation die down. Then he left. He started moving throughout the wasteland. During this time, his reputation got built up even more. The god of battle. Now, if you read something, I think it's called the god of Blackfield, Deku's going to have a reputation somewhat like that. The god of Blackfield, one of the most dangerous soldiers. When he touched down, something is going to happen. So, Deku took down a whole bunch of military outposts, people like that. His, basically kills reaching up to millions. Deku was more feared than a White Death. And all the military snipers from way in the past. He's more feared than a lot of people. That's why they call him the battle god. The god of battle. The demon with one eye. The reason I say one eye is because Deku lost his eye. He lost his left eye, but he bakes up with that with basically speed, agility, and strength. Now, Deku took all the possessions of his fallen comrades, So he has all the possessions. He has all that. He has all their equipment and things like that. Pictures, notes that they wrote for their family in case they didn't survive. He has all that. So after 2 years, Deku gets out of the place. He flies all over the world delivering the notes to the fallen people of his comrades. Like most of them was in America, and then had some in Russia, Japan, no, basically China. But he's gonna go to Japan last. So first he went to America because he know every language. They taught him every language because he needed to speak it just to survive. So he gives the notes, the possessions to the family as they cried and asked him who he was to them. As Deku showed them the picture that Deku was there, and it said they basically raised him like a son. As they said thank you, and basically the last stop was Japan after Deku went to China after giving all the possessions to the Chinese, families that lost basically family. So last Japan, he went to one house. This one house. As he knocked on the door, this woman opened the door and says, "Hello, what's your name?" No, "Hello, what can I do for you?" Not "what's your name?" No. "Hello, what can I do for you?" And Zuka says, "Is this Miski Bako?" "Yes, this is Miski." Alright. As Miski says, "Yeah, I'm Miski Bakugo. Yeah, what can I do for you?" As Deku hands her the note, says, "Was this your brother?" I forgot. What was I going to name his brother? I forgot his name. Mizuki. Yeah, I'm going to say Mizuki. From like Naruto, the dude from Naruto. Mizuki, Naruto. No. But he not really the dude from Naruto, he just got the same name as him. Miski and Mizuki, they were twins. He says, "Is this your brother, Mizuki?" She said, "Yeah." As Deku says, "I'm sorry to say this, but your brother fell in combat." She started to cry, break down, says, "That cannot be." She asks what was his basically relationship with him. As she see this 13-year-old boy who got an eye patch on, holding this sack, basically a sack of basically what you could tell is probably clothes, something like that. He says that he was like a friend, like a father, stuff like that, like a brother to him. They fought in the war together. She says, "Well, I was a kid like you in the war." He says because his parents left him and he didn't have anywhere else to go. Now, during this time, Inko did feel, sad from what she did. And she really did want to go look for Deku again, but since it was war striking, they couldn't really go back to their place. And they did look up on, pictures of the place, and they saw the house that they were living in was destroyed. So they thought the worst, that Deku was most likely dead. Deku's brother didn't really know nothing about Deku, but Inko them told him. And so he thinking that he's going to look for his brother. So Inko and Asashi don't hate Deku. They just left him. And they really want to find him again. And Deku's going to reunite with them and stuff like that. But this is going to happen later or soon. But not right now. As Miski stops crying, Deku gives her a possession of, that his friend had. He basically gives her this necklace. And it had a picture of Miski and her brother and her father and mother in it. He gives it to her, and she thanks him, and Deku just leaves. Katsuki comes to the door and says, basically asks his mom why she was crying. And Miski says that this kid basically just told me that your uncle died. Bako says, "Wait, I had an uncle?" Well, he don't say he had an uncle because Miski would tell him stories about his uncle having the same car she had, nitroglycerin. And so basically she told him that he was fighting in a war, he was a soldier, and basically that he just died. And that kid basically just brought his possessions and things back as he showed as she showed him a necklace that was kind of burnt with blood on it, and she says she has the same necklace as she shows it to Bakugo, and it looks identical. Now the picture in it looks a little bit burnt and stuff like that. It's a little bit burnt, and but it's only a little bit, not that much, so it still look perfectly fine. But it's a little bit burnt, a little bit crispy. So Bakugo thinking that he is sad that his uncle died. So Deku leaves. He finds him a hotel. He buys a couple nights, and basically he stays there. But during school, Izuko sees that Bakugo is sad. He asks why he's sad, and Bakugo says that his uncle his uncle died. Someone told his mother that his uncle died, and basically Izuko didn't really know nothing about Bakugo's uncle, so he tried to cheer him up because basically he didn't know that much, so he tried to cheer him up, and this worked a lot. And this gonna change Bakugo because he always looked up to his uncle because his uncle was a noble person who fought in the war, even though he didn't have to. He fought for it because he was from Japan. So Bakugo does explain what the kid looked like, because Mitsuki explained what he looked like, because the picture that was showed him says it was a kid about our age. He had green hair, wearing an eye patch, one eye. Basically, his eye was not green; it was red because the blood stained inside it got turned red. Instead of the green color, it's not red. And people that survived Deku's attack, which is probably less than what you would think, people that survived basically have nightmares of the person with one eye, one red eye. Basically they call him a god and they call him a demon. The ones that suffered the attacks call him a demon. The ones that watched it as basically on the allies on his side, they call him a god. So you can hear Deku called 2 different names: the demon of battle and the god of battle. And some just mix it to say the demon god of battle. Deku earned a very, very good reputation. Now, Aizawa knows about this because Aizawa had to fight in that war a little bit. A lot of pro heroes did because they were basically heroes. They had power. All Might didn't because All Might strives for peace. So a lot of heroes, sustained injuries, but they got healed by Recovery Girl, leaving scars, and basically they got more battle experience, basically fighting people with guns. Dang, I'm hungry. I need to eat something. So, Mitsuki does explain this kid what he looks like to Inko, and Inko says this probably Isuku. As Mitsuki says, wait, your lost son? And she says, yeah. When can I meet this kid? As Mitsuki says that the kid did give her his phone number in case she wanted to talk and learn more about her brother's death. So she called him up and asked him if he can meet her, and Deku says okay. As Deku comes, but he always has guns on him, armor and stuff like that. It's just that he has what looks like natural clothes, but is basically a cloaking device. Like under his natural clothes, he has basically a body armor with ammo in it, a pistol on his side, and a M16, the gun that you see right here. He always has that on his back, but it's cloaked too. So Inko and Mitsuki asked Deku more about Mitsuki's brother's death, as Deku started to explain. He says that it was the day of an operation they had, and this operation was basically 2 years ago. He explained. It was 2 years ago. we had to basically get rid of an enemy general, the person that was starting this war. We basically silently and stealthily took down the general and all of his soldiers, but on our way back, enemy forces basically mowed us down. As I was the only one left alive, then they stepped out our general, the person that was leading us. He had betrayed us and sought to basically get the fame of basically ending the war by himself. But sadly, it would not come to him as I'd already basically took him out. And then after that, I took down all of his soldiers. But what I did not know was he'd launch a nuke, and he was the only one who can call it off. So basically, the nuke exploded, and that's what caused the wasteland 2 years ago. And I've been in that wasteland for 2 years until I escaped and traveled the world delivering all their notes and things for that for the families who lost basically their family in the war, or the comrades of mine. As they do feel sad for this kid, basically knowing that he was in a war, a kid, so he never lived a normal lifestyle. He don't know nothing about that. So Inko started to ask the kid what his name was. He said his name was Izuku. He don't know his last name. He basically said the military said that he was left behind. Let's say he don't know if he was left behind on purpose or by mistake, in which it was a mistake. He was left behind by mistake. They just forgot. They was trying to rush out of there and go Hisashi, so they forgot Deku. It says that he was left behind by no mistake, most likely, because it looked like the area that he was in was basically drastically destroyed and stuff like that. So the people that was basically leaving must have left me behind by mistake. They probably feel bad because they left me. He don't really know, so he just said that. They asked him some more questions. He answers truthfully, not lying. That's when something happens. Basically, an explosion can be heard, and there's the villain, basically with a gun shooting at people, killing people. Deku sees this. He sees that the villain noticed them, so Deku flips the table over, drags Mitsuki and Iko behind the table as the villain starts to lay out fire on the table. Basically, it starts chipping off and it starts, basically breaking a little bit. But basically, they're behind. Mitsuki and Iko are scared. Deku just pulls out what they see to be a handgun. As he loads the clip in it, he cocks it. As they ask, where did he keep that? Why does he have one of those? He's just a kid. As Deku doesn't say anything, he don't really listen to them. He just leans to the left and he starts firing at the villain. As he started hitting the villain, basically, but he's not trying to kill him, so he started hitting his gun. He basically had, I'm gonna say he had an AK. So first Deku shoots, he shoots at the ammo, clip. Shoots at the clip. First thing, shoots at the clip, and since basically the man that used the gun, he didn't have the metal clip, so Deku's bullets pierced the clip and he blew up the bullets. Now, this was a small explosion, not that big, but it did send shrapnel into the man's hand, causing him immense pain. Deku shoots again, shooting right to the barrel, shooting a bullet that had the bullet that was chambered in. He basically made that explode too. That sent more shrapnel to the man's arm. Deku shoots the grip of the gun, basically hitting the man's finger, so that came off too. As the man is screaming, Deku shots him and shoot him in his left knee, making him fall to the ground as the man is just streaming on the ground. Now, this when heroes come in, they arrest the man, they take him to the hospital, they get him bandaged up, get all shrapnel taken out of his hand, arm, and put him in jail. Now they couldn't find Deku, the person who was shooting, they couldn't find him, as Deku had left. They find Iko on the side. They find Iko and Mitsuki. They bring them back home, and Hisashi and Masaru basically checking on them because they heard about this. And Bakugo and Izuku, they were still at school, so they couldn't do anything. Man, I'm hungry. I want to go out and walk to the store and get me something to eat, but I don't want to walk right now. Plus, I need money. Okay, so Deku, after this event happened, Iko basically solidified her answer that Deku is her son. So one day, Iko basically invited Deku to her house when Hasashi and Izuku was basically gone, and she basically says that I'm your mother, and Deku says how can you prove that? As they went to the doctor, they got blood tests, and it shows that Iko and Deku are perfectly alike. Well, not perfectly, because there is Hasashi's DNA mixed in, so 50% Iko, 50% Hasashi. So Deku is her son. As Deku says, no, basically, why did you leave me? Ingo says that she didn't have a choice, that she forgot him, and she's sorry. As they reunite, so they start spending time together through that whole day. Ingo says that she's sorry, that she wasn't there, that he had to live this kind of life. Deku says it's okay. I know you didn't do it on purpose. So, Hisashi and basically Izuku get back, and Ingo shows them Deku, and basically Izuku noticed that Deku looks like him a lot, except for the red eye, the eye patch and stuff like that, and he's muscular. He looks like him a lot. Deku says, why did this dude look like me? As Nico explains that this is his twin brother. As he was shocked that because from what he heard, his twin brother was either dead or missing. From basically, what they explained. So he ran up to Deku and basically hugged him because he was happy that he actually got to meet his twin brother. I ain't gonna starve, and it's not even a question. I gotta eat something soon. So, after this done, basically they started catching up and they started talking to each other more. Deku's brother explained that he wants to go to UA. Deku says he's not really going to be a hero. He's basically going to get a different job, basically like being a bodyguard or something like that. And that's what Deku's going to do. So his job is going to involve him going to UA. So actually, I'm going to get into that in the next part. Thanks for watching. Oh yes, somebody asked me they wanted to continue what if Naruto died, but for me to do that, I have to rewatch the series to see how much tail BC has. So I'm going to rewatch the series to see how much tail BC had. All this KK Genkai power stuff like that, but I mostly just make it up anyway. So I don't use scripts. I don't care if anybody say that my videos sound so made up. That's because they are. They off the top of my head. I don't use scripts because they just feel like to me it feel like they basically just defeat the purpose, like a story. I don't really want to be like one of those people that tells a story by basically writing it and then tell it out loud. I just want to be a person that freestyles a story. Like basically I can go ahead and say my life. Like what if I had this, what if I had that, but I'm not going to tell you like what I wrote down because I can change it at any time. So thanks for watching. I'm not going to be basically editing this video like I said, so there's no intro to this one. So peace out. See you guys next one.